Hi, everybody. It's Stacy, personally speaking, still here in Japan. Mentally, not here in Japan, but it's my reality right now. And so I am pushing through. I just came back home after being home for 3 days. Let me say that again. So today was the first I left my house since coming back on Sunday evening after church. I believe today is Wednesday. Yes, correct me if I'm wrong. And it just so happened that I kind of forced myself to get out of the house. I didn't have any reason to leave home per se. Um, this week, Monday to Friday, is pretty light. I'll only be working for about 5 or so hours for the entire week. So, and Monday, Tuesday, I was working online for a total of, yeah, let's ignore that part. So I was working online yesterday and Monday. Today, I have no work at all. Tomorrow, I'll actually have a face to face class on Thursday, and then Friday again, online work. So, what's been going on? You know? So by now you would have known about the house purchase and how long it took, how stressful it was along with work. So that's the thing. Work was really stressful. Working freelance has been very stressful. Then working freelance and doing the whole house process was like double whammy. Extremely stressful. I cannot emphasize that enough. And so the house finally finished. The repairs have finally been dealt with. Thanks be to God. I give God thanks for everything that has been done and completed so far. But one of the things I think is kind of affecting me is the fact that I am not here. I'm not present. I'm not here in Japan. Because now that the house is done, there's all this talk about putting up curtains and getting curtain rods and getting the holes drilled and, just having to think about all those things while I'm here. And nobody's forcing me to think about them. But in hindsight, I do need to think about them because we're talking about a house that is abandoned. No, not abandoned. A house that is empty. The house is empty and it's going to be empty for a little while until I go back home. And the plan to go back home is for next year, July. So, it's all reasonable that I should be thinking about these things. And not only that, as my friend highlighted, the place is dusty and it needs to be wiped and, some kind of maintenance has to be put into place. So even though I'm finished with the purchase and so on, those little things are kind of creeping in and forcing me to try and give attention to them, which I'm trying to ignore. I'm trying to ignore them so I can focus on being present here in Japan. And so that kind of meant jumping into some social activities, which were, let's just say, with an already full schedule, made my schedule just tip over. Tip over, it went into the overflow. And not in such a good sense at all, because that led to me being completely exhausted. Remember, I have not yet recovered from the whole house buying process. I have not yet recovered from that. And so, adding all these social activities to my life, it was good for me to get out, but half the time I was already just wishing to be back home, you know? So I was struggling to be at those activities. I did enjoy them to some degree, but I was already wishing to be home even before I went to some of them. And so this has caused undue stress to my body, right? So much stress that my heart is now palpitating. It has been experiencing palpitations for the past, since last week, sometime last week. I forced myself to go to church, and I really should have stayed home. Um, yeah, my heart was just, I was actually in church checking my pulse, you know, because it just felt like it was just going so fast. And I know it's because I am tired. I'm not only tired, but my body is in a particular state. I don't know how to describe it, because even after getting enough rest, I get up and my heart is still having palpitations. So I know that I need to step back. So I'm not complaining about this week at all with very little work time. But what I am on here to talk about is to really warn about working as a freelancer. I've actually spent several hours creating a spreadsheet of the past 3 months, October, November, December. Yes, from October, just inputting the hours that I've been working for each company, and really seeing how many hours I worked, so I can kind of guide myself to say, okay, Stacy, this was way too many hours. Way too many hours, right? And so try to, reduce the amount of hours that I work. The thing is, I don't know each month how many hours I'm going to work before the month starts. So it's always like it's kind of filling in as time goes on, kind of thing. So it makes it difficult for me to say no to a job or a lesson, which isn't going to start until like 2 or 3 weeks after. And then by the time I reach into some part of the month, a lesson I had signed up for finally gets signed off. And so that is added to the schedule again. And so I have to be mindful of those tentative schedules that are, written in pencil, kind of thing, that when they come through, they're going to add to the bulk of what I have to do. And so here I am struggling with all these kinds of things, feeling a bit overwhelmed, feeling exhausted, beyond exhaustion. And then I get tax documents from my main employer. No, I got the envelope probably a week or 2 weeks ago, if I'm being honest. But I didn't even look. I didn't even look at them. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the energy. I haven't been eating properly. I haven't been exercising as I'd like, if any at all, So finally, this week I said, okay. On Monday, I think I opened them, and but I didn't get much done because, as I said, I was really just trying to just be. I was just trying to be, you know. I managed to do some laundry. I think that was on Sunday, but I took them up Monday morning. I took them up. Right now it's Wednesday, and I'm still looking at all the laundry that I took up. The only thing is that they are on hangers, so they don't, consume the very little space that is already in my room. So the laundry still has not been sorted out since I took them up Monday morning. Remember, I have been home since that time, but I have physically, mentally, emotionally just not been able to do much because I'm just trying to get my heart to kind of start beating at a normal rate, right? Now, I check my blood pressure. My pressure, everything seems fine, just the palpitations. And I know it's because I'm tired and exhausted and all those things. So, I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to watch a movie, and not even that, because normally when I watch a movie, I'm able to relax. These days, I can't even sit down to watch a movie in its entirety, because my mind is just so overwhelmed with things that need to get done, things I've had to ignore for a really long time because of the whole house process and, all those things. And now it's like, all right, they've sent these forms. I see a deadline of November 4th. Now that is Friday. So I'm like, all right, I can use 1 hour and fill out these forms. First things first, I look on one of the forms and I see 2022, and I'm like, okay, Stacy, go and look for any pictures that you would have taken, because like doing this every year, is really annoying, really, really frustrating, right? So this is my second, going into third year of working freelance. So this is basically like the second time to do it, really. But then I see this form and I'm like, wait, it's the same, it has the same year, 2022, as the one on my computer. So I emailed my company and they're like, oh, they actually send out the forms twice per year. I'm like, really? So, you know, I tried. I completed what I could. And then I realized this is going to take a really long time. And I had already spent hours on them. Three forms, right? And I think two of them are mandatory. And I'm like, this is too much. And as if that wasn't enough. So I filled in the forms. One of the forms had to do with some calculations, like literally physical calculations. So I had to, thank God, I kept records, like Excel spreadsheet of my salary and so on. I had to get all the salary information from January to December estimated. Yeah. So even though that hasn't come yet, I had to estimate whatever the salary was going to be. And I'm doing this for two companies. Yeah. Two companies with unconfirmed schedules, right? Yeah. So I did that, calculating and minus and subtract and divide. And then the form has some little fine print that you have to follow the instructions how to calculate. And I'm like, this is too much. Why should I have to be doing this? Why can't my company do this? Mind you, they do it for their full-time employees. Their full-time employees get set a set salary, right? So this is my main employer I'm talking about. The other company I work for don't do it at all, right? They don't do it at all. So yeah. So either way, I had to be doing this calculations and stuff. All right, so I finished the calculations. Then they need proof of insurance premiums payment. Now, unless the insurance company, that is pension and health insurance, the national social programs, unless they send you that little trifold poster card that shows the payment for a certain period, unless they do that, you have to provide evidence of physical payment. Now, fortunately, the pension company sent that card. The health insurance company has not sent that card, which means I had to find a way to provide this evidence. And I was not in the mood. I was not in the mood. I went and guess what? It is deducted from my bank account. So I have no physical payment slips, right? So I went online. JP Bank is another story all to itself because it only shows you from the first of the previous month. That's all it will show you online, unless you have some kind of special premium account where I not subscribe to that. So I could not find the information for that, which meant I had to update my bank book, my passbook, which meant I had to go to the bank. If I didn't go to the bank to update the passbook, which is why I kind of left the house today, I would have had to go to the ward office, go to the health insurance section and request some kind of certificate to show this proof of payment for the health insurance. I'm talking about those who might be considering freelancing. I don't know. This is just my experience. Other companies might do things differently, depending on the contract you're on and all those things. But suffice it to say, I have not yet done that. I just came back from the bank and the supermarket because after the bank, I stopped at the supermarket to get some food supplies. So at least I know I won't be starving when I am here locked up for days in the house. So what I'm going to do, because the bank book is so small and the information is on like every other page, I'm going to take pictures of it put it online, put it on my computer, put it in a Word document, and convert it to PDF. So I'm not like printing ridiculous amounts of pages. Yeah, and the deadline, as I said, is Friday, which at this point I don't care so much for meeting. Honestly, I don't care so much about meeting that deadline. Um, yeah, honestly. I'm just doing what I can and trying to keep my strength and stay in my right mind. Um, so on that note, before I actually went there, so heads up to those who want to work freelance here in Japan. In Jamaica, we're not used to um, filing our own taxes, doing any kind of end of year tax adjustment. And just to say what this is all about is that my employers, they withdraw taxes from my salary every month, right? It is an estimated amount that they withdraw. And so at the end of the year, they do this tax adjustment to see if they should give you back some money or they should take extra money from your final or December pay slip, right? Usually I end up getting back. So it's a good thing to do to be able to get back the money, but the hassle, the stress of it all, it shouldn't be so difficult. It shouldn't be so difficult. And yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. As a freelancer, I don't work full time for any company, so I just have to do what I need to do and just try my best. It didn't help that I was already stressed and overwhelmed. So heads up for that. It happens around the same time every year. And then this is not the final thing, because after this next year I have to find myself to the tax office anyway to file for my dependents, because even though I'm submitting a dependence form to my company, they do not submit that on my behalf to the tax company, which is kind of weird. And that's why last year I did not end up going to file for my dependents to get back some money. And so I didn't get back the money last year. And I ended up being in the higher tax bracket this year. And so I ended up having to go to the city hall in May of this year and trying to file taxes halfway through the year. Yeah, I needed to do this just talking. I'm just talking, getting it off, getting it out. So today, I should be feeling better. No, I should actually be feeling a little bit better. But I'm going to tell you what happened when I came back from my walk. So I have another friend. I try to encourage them to exercise, and, they try to do the same to me. But, right now they're kind of in a slump. And I understand totally where they are, but today they told me that after 24 days, they finally were able to go and exercise. And by exercise, I just mean a walk, right? Because we were doing regular walks when the time wasn't so cold, right? When the time is cold, it's a different situation. It's a different kettle of fish, trust me, right? And besides that, they are already having some other issues, right? Like myself, right? So, anyway, I was so happy and so proud of them for going to walk. So, at minutes to 2, when I was busy completing the forms, taking picture of my bank book and so on, I decided, you know what? Left the farm them, put them down, left them. The farms are of no use to me if I collapse or if I have a mental breakdown. So I put on the farms and I went outside in my clothes, same clothes that I've been sleeping in, sir. I just went for a walk. No mask. I had the mask in my pocket, music in my ears, and I was just walking. And I just went, and it was about 22, 23 degrees. The sun was really nice. And I just turned my face to the sun, lay down in the sun, and allow it to breathe on me for about 10 minutes. After that, I got up and did some stretching. I just started to feel a little alive. I started to feel a little alive. And then I was like, okay, I got there like about a little after 2. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I definitely was not there to exercise. So I just decided to walk and find some upbeat music. And as the music was playing, I was just naturally moving my body. And I'm like, wow, my body is so missing this. My body is missing this rhythmic, you know, sensation that I would normally experience just being in Jamaica or just being at church. This natural rhythmic movement of our bodies, which is so absent from Japan. And so I was just listening to the music in the park and just walking and dancing and all kind of dancing, all kind of stuff. My body was just naturally, just finding appropriate movements to match the rhythm. And I did that for about a good 40 minutes. I didn't get back home until after 3. When I come back, sweating and all these things. I was so happy to be sweating. Sounds weird, right? But it's just truth. I was so happy to be sweating, and my heart felt good. I was taking pictures because the sunshine was beautiful. The sky was just blue and the wind was just so gentle and cool. So it was just a wonderful time just being out there. And I'm like, okay, now I can go and I can do this. I am going to go to the bank and update my bank book. Yes, and what else do I need to do? I need to go to the supermarket and buy some stuff to make soup, but I'm not gonna make the soup today. But at least I will have the things already. Maybe I can make the soup tomorrow. And so I was in such a better mood. My spirit had been lifted just by being outside. One of my friends had actually encouraged me to go and walk, but then she quickly asked me, "Has it started snowing yet?" So thankfully it has not started snowing. It's not winter yet. It is fall, but the mornings are pretty cold, so I do not go exercising in the mornings. I don't even want to get out of bed. Like, come on. And so I was able to go ride my bicycle to the bank, update my bank book, go to the supermarket, and then I came home and I was like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready again to see how much more I can cover in this tax adjustment, end of year tax adjustment process, only to see an email from my company telling me about some observation next week. Man, I emailed them same time and I told them that I wasn't in the mood. Mind you, it's not on them. It's very specific. It's some ISO certification observation thing. So they don't have a choice, right? But honestly, I was just not in the mood and I told them exactly that. I'm not in the mood because this process that they have given me to complete is taking ridiculous hours out of my time. And, so to hear about that observation thing, it did not sit well with me at all. And so I just decided, you know what? I need to talk. I need to talk. And so I came on this live to talk to you guys or to talk to myself, whichever the case is. But I really, really just needed to talk. And I have spoken, and this is a heads up to those who want to be working freelance, or you know what? Maybe this is preparing me to run my own business. Who knows? Who knows? This is preparing me for something in the future, right? So be ye warned. you know, this whole thing, yeah, it's not so easy at all. It's not so easy at all. It's not easy. It's not easy. But I think I'm finally catching up a little bit with my life. I've kind of put the house situation a little aside. There are other things I'm thinking about, because of course I'm thinking about going back, thinking about job situation, thinking about the mortgage to pay. I'm thinking about those things. But I want to be at peace. I want to experience that peace, not sometimes. I want to be experiencing that peace all the time, all the time. And I know that that peace is mine. Peace in God is mine. And I'm not going to allow the enemy, the devil, to rob me of that peace. So it's good that I'm talking, getting it out there, getting it out, and acknowledging that I am on top of things. I am on top of things, yeah? I'm on top of things, and it's going to be great. It's going to work out well, and I'm going to be very happy with the amount of money that I'm going to get back, because I've been paying a lot in taxes. Yeah. Yeah, God is good. God is good. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, Stace. Don't forget that, you, my viewers. Don't forget, no matter the circumstances, God is good. He's in control, and it's already worked out for your good, for my good. It's already worked out, you know. But you know how our brains kind of want to tell us all kind of things, and our minds kind of wander and so on. But it's already all worked out. All worked out perfectly. Perfectly. Just keep trusting in God. All right. Thank you for stopping by, and all the best on your freelance journey. Don't be deterred by obstacles and hardships. That's a part of life. You will overcome. Bye for now. Stacy, personally speaking.